Hello everybody, Chris here, and in this video we're going to be talking about scriptable objects inside of Unity. So right here I have an instance of a scriptable object inside of my assets folder. So you might notice that it already is sharing some similarities to a prefab in that we can store it with all of its values inside of our assets folder. And then like a prefab object, we're able to reference this scriptable object from other scripts. Monobehaviours usually, which would actually take these values or take the functionality of this scriptable object and do something with it. So you can see here, I've created a scriptable object called default settings. So over on the right, you can see it's got a Boolean value for whether the game has loaded or not, a integer for the number of times it's been loaded. And keeping track of something like that in a scriptable object is not a good idea, and I'll show you why in a bit. The name of the first scene that we might load into the game when the player hits new game or whatever, the amount of starting money and the amount of starting health. If we actually take a look at the scriptable object, we can go out in here. It's an instance of a game settings. But the idea behind that particular one is that I would use it as default settings in a game manager class, which can be a singleton, or some other script you have in your project. So things to note about scriptable objects versus monobehaviors. For one thing, you do not attach them to a game object directly. They're not a component and they don't run their own functionality. So you're not going to have something like public void update on a scriptable object that you would have in a monobehavior. So note here that scriptable objects, although they're generally used for storing data inside of your project, they can still have methods in them because they're still a class, of course. So if you wanted to have something like public void multiply starting health, and then you could do like, I don't know, starting health times equals 5. For some reason, I mean, just giving an example here, you can have that. But the thing is, because a scriptable object isn't its own monobehavior, it's not going to be executing any of these functions on its own. So generally what you need to do is that you would have a monobehavior doing its on-update cycles as the game runs, and then it might do something on a scriptable object or call one of the scriptable object's methods. So inside of a monobehavior, you would have the update method reference whatever scriptable object is attached to that monobehavior in your hierarchy or your prefab. And then maybe you call the multiply starting health method. So it would be like the name of the file dot multiply starting health. Now, while we're on the subject, I'd like to point out that these manager classes I've been creating are actually scriptable objects in themselves. And that's why you see up here at the top, create asset menu, game manager, systems game manager. Just like in this example scriptable object, a default scriptable object that is, we have create assets menu, the name of the class, and then how you want it to show up in the menus. So it's under the settings dropdown and then game settings. The difference is with this singleton library, which is available on the Unity Assets Store, there's actually a parent manager class which pulls in all of these scriptable objects and actually calls their functionality. So although this manager class is a scriptable object, it's being called by a singleton updater, which actually instantiates a single monobehavior, which takes all of these singleton scriptable objects and actually calls their functionality inside of that monobehavior. Okay, so why would you actually use a scriptable object in the first place? Well, there's a few advantages. First off, if you've ever worked inside of the hierarchy inside of Unity, looking at all these prefabs, the game objects, you may have occasionally noticed that things sometimes go missing and you might lose references to certain data. For instance, when you delete a script from your project, then it might show up here, oh, a missing script, and all of the stuff that was tied to that script is kind of lost because that script's no longer in the project. But if you have a scriptable object, this is actually an asset in your project. So this is going to stay there until you delete it. So this default settings asset file is going to contain this data until you delete this from the project. So you could attach this to a monobehavior, and that monobehavior script might lose reference to this, but it still exists in the project and it's still going to contain all of these same settings inside of here. So it can be a decent way to store certain information if you don't want to lose it later on. Now, another cool thing about it, and I'll show you an example of this, is that you can reference the same object from different MonoBehaviour scripts. So you can have one default settings object, and it can be referenced from multiple scripts and multiple objects throughout your project. So for instance, the game manager, which is another scriptable object, as I mentioned before, has a reference to this game settings scriptable object, the default settings. So if I double click there, you can see it pulls us over to the default settings instance of game settings, which contains all this information. So by having that object set here, we basically have all of the information inside of that object ready to reference inside of game manager. You also will be able to notice if you click over here on the right to get the selection, you can see all of the asset files, which are specifically instances of this game settings here. So it's pretty easy to pick one out from your project. And you can, of course, reference it from scripts that already exist inside of your scene or another prefab. So you can see here, default settings here is a field that takes a game settings, and I chose the default settings asset file to be the instance of that. So multiple objects referencing the scriptable object for different reasons. So now we can talk about why saving values to a scriptable object at runtime is not a good idea. The reason for that is that values in the scriptable object only permanently save when you're within the Unity editor. You can see here that the game manager, when its initialize method is called, it sets game loaded to true, and it sets times loaded plus plus, which means add 1 to it. And then over here in this is game loaded text script, which is purely just for testing here, it will output the base text message, whether it's loaded or not, true or false, and then the number of times loaded. So in theory, what you would expect to happen would be that every time the game loads, basically every time I hit play, it increments by 1, and that text should show a new number. So start at 1, then go to 2, then 3, then so on. And that'll work in the editor. So if we're hitting play in the editor, like we'll do right now, it will work that way. So you can see here, scene loaded, true, 1. Okay, great. Now let's hit it again. And then we'll have scene loaded, true, 2. If we check the scriptable object, we'll see that those values have been changed as we would expect. So game loaded is checked, times loaded 2, right? And we can hit it one more time just to prove that it does work within the editor. But as soon as we build the game, and we're no longer working in the Unity editor, but actually the executable file for the game, that functionality no longer works. So well, I've already built the game. Let's just build it to, prove it one more time that, I'm not pulling your leg or anything. So I've built the game one more time. We'll set the resolution here to what I actually want for the project, which is 640 by 480. Actually, it's supposed to be 640 by 360. We'll fix that later. So let's go ahead and hit play here. And it'll give us this scene loaded true. You know what actually happened? Because we changed the value in the editor, it actually saved to the executable build with that value. But I will show you, without a shadow of a doubt, if we run this one more time, it's going to show 4. So scene loaded 4. And we can run it one more time just to double prove. Okay, so we have scene loaded 4, right? So the value only changes inside of the editor. So for those reasons, you can't really rely on scriptable objects to be a good way to, say, save data permanently, and rather for something like that, you would want to write to an XML file or binary through a serializer. But what scriptable objects would be good for is something like the default settings that should load with your game, or maybe you create a folder with all of the items that might exist in your game, all of the swords, potions, whatever, and then the data that's stored in that, you can reference that or pull that in for other classes, other manager scripts, other player objects or NPCs, but you should not change the values in the scriptable object simply because it's not stateful, and those values are going to reset to whatever it was at build time. So that's going to be it for this primer to scriptable objects inside of Unity. In future videos, I'll be showing you guys more about how to write them properly and what you can do with it on a more serious scale. So that's going to be it for this video. I've been Chris. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my future Unity content.